Championship game presented by AT&T at Levi Stadium, home of the 49ers. It'll be
what a game.
Clemson, Alabama. The Tide can lead out the last 2 minutes for the fourth.
Got about 2 minutes left, so Alabama should be able to control the clock. 45-34 right now with a minute 40 to go, clock rolling.
Stands at 2 rounds to 1 in Alabama.
Oklahoma's out of timeout, so really, look at that. God, they got the beast. Get on the field, son. Ooh, Lord. You can go and give me the ball, coach. Let me get one more.
Be interesting to see with Nick's headphones and clapping his hands, which usually
this
he does
is
not do until the game is officially
Deacon victory formation there right now. Let's see what he'll do. Let's see if he lets this guy want to punch one more in. Let's see. See if they'll add insult to injury. Oh, he's drinking his Gatorade now.
Field goal and 3 touchdowns, but it was not enough to overcome what was a 28.
He's gonna run it out.
For Bama.
Yeah, victory formation on the 6-yard line. That's it. That's it. I told, I actually had a friend of mine who asked me what I thought the final score of the game would be, and I sent him the score is 45-35. I'm sorry, I missed one, guys. Yeah, I missed it by a point. Woo! SEC's too much, man. It's too much. Too much. Oklahoma Sooners should be proud. Go home and cry in your Kool-Aid. Nobody cares. What's going on, VRL or VLR? Sorry, said that wrong. And give everybody a minute here to jump on. So, he said, go Tigers, huh? All right, son, sit down a minute. Yeah. Yeah. We're going to give everybody a few minutes to jump on here. That was a good game. UCD? No. LSU should smoke them. UCF? No. LSU should smoke them. And I want to see LSU just beat the ever living brakes off of them. I mean, I hope y'all get out to the 2-yard line and there's a minute left to go and they've burned all their timeouts and you guys have 100 and they have 0 and you guys go ahead and just score again just to shut them up. They play a weak ass schedule. They don't overperform. And I'm just sick and tired of hearing about UCF. They're not that good. You play a real schedule day in, day out, like you do in a Power 5 conference, and let's see if you get to the end of the season undefeated. And if you do, you're going to end up just like these other guys. You're going to get your teeth kicked in when you play real teams. So I got to fix something here. Hang on one second, guys. There we go. Had my brightness turned down. So, I mean, Kyler Murray's a good quarterback, but he couldn't compete. When he got put under real pressure with a real defense, with a real offense, he couldn't compete. He just couldn't compete. Tua went out there and did what Tua does. He managed the game, played effectively, picked them apart, had the defense do. He had cycling between third running backs, making amazing throws, had guys making amazing catches all night. And I mean, the only time that Alabama struggled was during the second half. They had a little bit of miscommunication here and there. Running back lining up on the wrong side and shit like that, stuff like that. It was just, it was a good game. It was well played. I seen more mistakes out of Alabama tonight than I've seen in a while. I'm so glad we won, but whoever kept calling all these running plays in the second half, trying to run the clock out, ticked you off. Too many stupid penalties. Well, any penalty that you get on the offensive side of the ball or defensive side of the ball that costs you, territory is considered to be a stupid play. I mean, a stupid penalty, because most penalties are 100% preventable. But the problem that you ran into is that it just got out of hand for some of them. UGA best team out there. I don't know, dude. Alabama played really well tonight. I think they played better tonight on some sides of the ball than they did when they played against us, but they struggled on defense there in the second half more than they did with us. So it's hard to say. What's up, Nicholas? What's up, Jay? I would say UGA is probably, definitely in a contention with first, second, or third. If you sit down and you look at how they played, Tua was clearly injured versus Georgia. Yeah, but you can't, in my opinion, injuries happen. You can't play the what-if game with injuries. You have to play with what you have. So one player doesn't carry a team. That just doesn't seem to happen anymore in college football. So Tua was hurt. I mean, Tua is not the team. Tua is one player. And proof in the pudding is that when they put Jalen in, the team continued to perform. So, I mean, it just is what it is. But as far as what's that? Yeah, oh yeah, they play that all the time. But at the end of the day, I mean, Alabama went out there and recruited. Yeah, Alabama's recruiting has become beastly. SEC again, Florida, Bama, LSU will beat UCF, and UGA will beat Texas easily. Yeah, I don't have a problem. I don't think there's any doubt we'll do that. But tonight's game was a good representation by the SEC. They took a team that had a Heisman Trophy candidate winner again, and they beat them soundly. And easily could have scored another touchdown here at the end of the game. There was a couple of times where penalties held Alabama back from scoring an additional, 2 or 3 other scores. Alabama just outclassed them all the way. Okay, go shut the bedroom door, son. Dogs, let's see, ready for season. Ready for your season is over video. That's not me, dude. That's Uncle Lou. That's Uncle Lou, man. Kyler had over 300 yards passing, though. Okay, so he had over 300 yards passing. But I saw him running for his life. I saw him missing, overthrowing. He didn't look his same natural self. And if I had to tomorrow take a quarterback and play any other team in the world, I would either have to pick Jake Fromm or Tua. I'm not going to pick Kyler Murray. He didn't look like the same in rhythm, smooth gliding quarterback that he did in his other games because the competition he was playing wasn't as good. Lawrence looks like a broom running would get broken in half. We'll see what happens. He didn't look as good. He didn't look as good tonight as he did in some of his other games. Roll Tide. Micah Bell says Roll Tide 14-0. Yeah, it's a good season for Alabama, absolutely. And the fact that Georgia played them as close as they did is a testament to how good Georgia is. Bama could have made it a lot worse. We scored when they scored. I think that Alabama got a little out of rhythm there in the second half and then got back in rhythm, and that helped them out. It's definitely nice to see. Yeah, who's the real Heisman winner now? I think Tua, but I hope Ajmo Saucer can come to LSU. We'll see what happens. It's hard to know who these guys are going to pick sometimes. Who cares? And out, Bama, go. Linda says go Gators. Listen, guys, it's been a good season. I'm glad to see that. Excuse me. Most teams didn't suffer catastrophic injuries this year. Georgia's had seasons where it seems like we were just plagued by injuries. Alabama had seasons last year's season they just seemed like they were plagued by injuries. I didn't really see any of that this go around this year, so I'm kind of happy for that, especially for the players. But on paper, Alabama absolutely dominated in the first half, which they didn't do that against Georgia. They came out and they continued to play well enough to win the game, even though at some points Oklahoma seemed like they were surging. The team's it's an okay team. There's no doubt about it. They're a good team, but they're just not college football playoff material. The fact that they were down 28-0 or whatever it was, or 21-0, and then they continued to fight and they continued to play shows a lot of heart. And, that's always impressive to see players do that. Yeah, I'm glad this game's in the history books. I agree with that. JT Daniels and Trevor Lawrence are the second most talented QBs in college football. Yes and no. Trevor Lawrence has outstanding receivers, and I'll say that time and time again so that people understand. You have an amazing quarterback, but if you got nobody to throw to, you look like garbage. If you can be an okay quarterback and have outstanding receivers, and those guys can make you look like a phenom. Feel sorry for Texas. Georgia going to make a statement. Yeah. Your free funny codes, Stingley, huh? I don't know what that means, VLR. Notre Dame got trounced. I mean, they just got trounced. They had no business in the college football playoff. Bama, Clemson, UGA, and OU are the 4 best teams. I think that's, after watching tonight's game, Lyndon, I think that's the most accurate statement I've seen. My son over here is dancing, so he doesn't want to be on YouTube. Wasn't OU's offense rated number one all time? I think so, but I also wasn't Michigan's defense ranked number 1 of all time. You're only as good as you are when you're playing your toughest opponent. So Notre Dame overrated. Yep. Now UGA will get the W. Yeah, and I'm going to tell you right now, I think that Georgia's going to come out and play with a physicality you probably haven't seen very often this year. I think they're going to come out absolutely just pissed off that they got snubbed by the football playoff committee. I think they're going to make a strong statement for the reason why a 2-loss team has every bit of right to be looked at for being put in the college football playoff committee. Basically, University of Texas is going to come out and Georgia's going to throw them in a wood chipper. I mean, that's how it's going to be. They're going to get demolished. It's just going to be a kick in the teeth all night. They play in the Independence League, yeah. And I get so tired of Notre Dame, that whole independence thing. All their other sports, they play in the ACC, but they won't join a conference. And even Lou Holtz, who I think he coached there for a number of years, he's a big Notre Dame fan. Even he says they should join a conference. What would it be if Georgia was I? I'm not sure what that means, Zafira. Alabama looks really good when they don't play Georgia. Yeah, 52-21 Georgia. I don't know what that means, Lyndon. What part of UGA? What of UGA replaced Notre Dame and went against? I'm not sure what that means. What state am I from? I'm from Georgia. I live in Georgia. I live about half an hour south of Atlanta. Let's see. Oklahoma did have a decent run after 28. They did, but it wasn't enough to overcome the hole they were in. Kirby fooled himself by picking Fields over Lawrence. Maybe, but at the end of the day, even if Lawrence would have came to UGA, I don't see how he could have taken the job away from Jake Fromm. Jake Fromm's just super efficient. And if you look at the way Georgia plays football, you don't need a phenom quarterback. You need a game manager. It's the way our whole scheme is set up as a pro-style offense. See what happens when the Heisman winner goes up against a real defense. He choked. That's absolutely right. My favorite thing to call Oklahoma is Choklahoma, just so you guys know. What if UGA replaced Notre Dame and went against Clemson? Okay. I think that would have been a better game. I think it would have been a lower scoring game for Clemson. I think Georgia's fast enough to keep up with them. I think Georgia would have won that game by a touchdown. No problem, Zafira. Do I know where Milton, Georgia is? No, but I have Google Maps. So I can find it. What do I expect when I see Georgia play the 2 best in SEC course? Of course, going to be close. What do I expect when Bama, Georgia play 2 best in the SEC course? It's going to be close. Yeah, Georgia could handle. Lawrence could not handle the Notre Dame pass rush well. Yeah, he looked a little out of just looked uncomfortable dealing with their pass rush. OU is now 0-3 in semifinals, which is exactly why the Big 12 or whatever conference they're in is a joke. I follow high school football basically only when it comes to the kids that are highly ranked for recruiting. I just don't have time to track down all those guys. Who do I think is better tailgating, Bama or LSU? Oh, that's easy, dude. LSU for sure. I lived in Louisiana for a while, and those people will feed you the best food you've ever had in your life. Bama's are no slouch now, but LSU's just got some amazing food. Georgia would have beat Notre Dame. Yeah, I think that I think almost, let's say, who could have beat Notre Dame? LSU, Auburn, Kentucky, obviously Florida. I mean, just there's tons of teams that could have beaten him. Skip Bayless, that I call Skippy Bias, fibbed and said Bama would beat his Sooners. He doesn't know what he's talking about. LSU versus UCF score predictions. I'd probably say LSU 38, UCF 20, 22, 21. Lawrence and Deal, there are over 100,000 people outside and 100,000 people inside. Whew, yep, that's true. Gump fans are happy. Well, it's easier for them to be happy. They have an undefeated team. LeBron James or MJ to go? Dude, of course, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was a 6-time Defensive Player of the Year in the NBA. I don't think LeBron's ever won it once. You're talking about the greatest of all time. You have to be great at all aspects of the game, and LeBron's just not. What's up, Paramount Highlights? Hey, for you, those of you who are on the channel, go check him out. He makes some kick-ass hype videos and stuff for the games. He really makes good videos. Check him out. Who I like in a natty? Yeah, I'm going to take Bama. I mean, SEC all the way. I'm not a Bama fan, but I have fans that are Bama fans, and they're a good ball club this year. Their offense this year is far better than it's been in many other years. It's completely different. Hats off to Nick Saban for recognizing the talent he has and being willing to change his entire offense to deal with it. SEC for life, even if the Dogs lost SEC pride. Yep. And I explain it like this. I do follow Georgia baseball. I actually went to a couple of their College World Series games when I lived in Omaha, back when there was actually a guy named Joshua Fields that was a quarterback. I got an autograph from him for my son. I tell people like this about the SEC. They say, how can you be a fan if you're rooting for Alabama or you're rooting for, Florida or whomever? I tell people like this, it's like having a bunch of brothers. We may fight like hell amongst ourselves, but, you get outside of the house and, we're going to be backing you up. So that's just the way that goes. Deader or sooner or later. I still like Choklahoma. It's my favorite. Do you think LSU got screwed versus Texas A&M? That was such a close game, man. I mean, I think both teams had opportunities to close it out, and they missed it. I think both teams had opportunities to lose that game and couldn't. And it just went the way it went. That was such a weird game. UF fans, Bama fans, UT fans, Bama fans. What? UT fans and Bama fans are scared. I don't think Bama fans are scared. I think those guys are so used to winning. The true salute you for being a great fan of the game. Nice people are what make it fun for fans. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy the sports. I enjoy the teams. There's so many things that go on with college football. I will say tonight that I saw Michigan was way overrated. Of course they are. They're in the Big 10 or Big 12 or whatever it is. Look, guys, if it's not an SEC team, and if it's not an SEC team or Clemson, they're probably overrated. And the proof's in the pudding. If you go back and you look at all the years of the college football playoff committees, if you go back and look at the bowl games, if you go back and actually look at the numbers, it's not SEC hype. It's just the facts. I have a 2015 LSU baseball roster autograph with my glove. That's pimp, dude. Do I think Kyler Murray should have been called out for being overrated by the crowd in the game? No, I really don't like singling out players, and it's because a lot of these kids have really worked their tails off to get where they get, and you put them on a big stage, you put them in that environment. I don't think I could perform in that environment. And these guys come out and they carry their entire teams, and most of them's 19, 20, 21 years old. So to me, that's impressive. I try not to call those guys out. Do I know Harrison Bailey from Marietta, Georgia, class of 2020 QB? I do not, free codes, but I will look him up. Because Marietta's probably an hour from where I'm at. I can go watch him. Do my kids play football? My son played football for a little while, but he's primarily interested in JROTC, and he wants to go in the military and Air Force, so that's what he's focused on. Hey, sooner we just AJT boy, already on it, man. I don't blame you. Predictions for the Clemson-Alabama game. I think Clemson has a better defense than Oklahoma does, and I think that game's probably going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of like 38 to 31. I mean, it's going to be a close game. It's not going to be a blowout, walk-away game. Harrison is the second pro-style quarterback in the nation in 2020. I'll check him out. Clemson is nerve-wracking. Is a nerve-wracking thought motto. Clemson will never be crimson. That's true. OU offense is good, but that defense is garbage. I agree. What's going on with my chat? Good thing there's only one player from Louisiana come in for Alabama so far. You know, actually, the LSU fans have actually been pretty good in the channel. The worst fans I've had has basically been the Oklahoma fans. Golly, 2 years in a row, those guys jumped down in the comment section and just troll the crap out of me. My son's playing Fortnite because that's what kids do these days. What do you tell your parents who are nervous or scared for their kids to play football? Your kids are more likely to get injured on the car ride to the field than they are to be injured playing the sport. I mean, that's the facts. If you get out there and look at how many kids actually play football across the country and look at the injury rate, your kid is not, it's not like your kids, most kids that play football, 22 kids at any given time on the field, only one person is going to have the ball. And if your kid's a running back or a quarterback, that's about the only two positions that are really going to get lit up that often. So if you're concerned about your kid being injured playing football, don't let him play quarterback or running back. Everything else is pretty safe. We should have scheduled a better team to match Auburn and Florida. The way that stuff is set up is it's kind of set up contractually based off of where your position is in your conference. And I mean, that's all kind of already predetermined. Who got the number 1 corner in the class of 2020? I don't know that yet, VLR. I haven't made it that far. I'll start doing that stuff in the offseason. What do you think about Bama's defense tonight? I was not happy in the second half. I think that Alabama didn't. When Alabama's defense is reeling in the first half, it gives them an opportunity to make the defensive adjustments in the second half. I don't think that they really had enough to really worry about because of the damage they were taking were almost like fluke plays. So it's, how do you adjust to something like that? And so it's not like when you were playing Georgia where they're over here stomping your teeth in, you can realize exactly where your problem is and adjust and fix it. They didn't have that problem tonight, so it was hard to say. Yeah, Georgia would have given you guys way more trouble than Notre Dame, that's for sure. Georgia's going to be a top 5 team for years. Bama is a dynasty, that's true. Kirby Smart's probably going to be the first predecessor to Nick Saban to beat him. Keep giving Gus Bus Miles on a raise every year. Absolutely. LSU is DBU. Some people say that. I can see why they would say that. But we'll give y'all DBU and we'll take RBU. We love being running back university. What did I do with my water? I got some water around here somewhere. Okay, let me see my water. It's right there. I think so. Tennessee's not in the talk. Probably not going to be in the talk for a while, but eventually he's going to get around to being a better team. My son is in black belt and has been injured learning Taekwondo. Sent him to physical therapy for a month. All sports have a risk. Yeah, everything has a risk, whether it's soccer, whether it's Taekwondo, whether it's basketball. I mean, everything has a risk. Number 1 SEC. Number 2, toss up between Big Ten and ACC. 4 Big 12, 5 Pac-12. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty accurate. One thing I will say is this year is that John Emery decommitted from Georgia. Really? Huh. I didn't know that. I'll have to look into that. Jalen will transfer. He's just too talented to sit on the bench. I mean, it's like Justin Fields. I don't get mad at anybody for wanting to transfer to a new school. I mean, these guys have careers that they're trying to go play at. They may love their college, and then that's great. But at the end of the day, I mean, they want a career, and the only way they're going to get a career is to transfer colleges. Do I feel the Dogs expose Bama for other teams that can actually play them? No, I don't, because I don't feel anybody has the player level of recruits that Georgia has. Is the Robo Bowl this year going to be great? with Washington versus Ohio State. No, Washington. I think Washington can beat Ohio State. Not that now, but I don't think it's going to be that good of a game. Predictions for LSU. Golly, 38-24. I think it's fair. I know it's too early to tell, but do you think Georgia Tech's pro-style offense will change the game with Georgia next year? Absolutely not. Their entire offense is structured around a triple offense, so all the players they have are triple option players. Those guys have never ran a pro-style format. They're going to have to learn the whole system, and it's not an easy system to learn. They're going to have to recruit new players that work for a pro-style offense. They're just, I mean, it's just the way it's going to. That's just the way it's going to go. So no, it's probably going to take them 2 or 3 years before they get anybody that's worth having. Tate Marshall will win the Heisman next year. Tate Martell. God, that's hard to say that he'll do that. I doubt it. I just doubt it. Your son is 6'5" and weighs 290 and he could not play football due to brain surgery when he was young. Wow. Sarah, that was like a freaking knowledge bomb there. It was a lot to take in. I can't imagine that, because you see that guy walk in the room and his first 2 questions he gets asked is, do you play basketball or do you play football? Jalen Hurts should transfer to UF. No, Jalen Hurts should not transfer to UF. Jalen Hurts should transfer to East Mississippi Community College, the one on Last Chance U, and stay there, because I don't want to play that guy again. Georgia is the Joe Frazier college football. Bama beat them, but doesn't want to play them again. Yeah, that's true. Josh Jacobs is a beast. Oh man, there was a pass tonight I saw Ruggs make. That catch he made, it was like it was just crazy. That kid can catch better than I thought he could. That guy was a real talent tonight. There will be more Texas fans in the stadium. I don't know about that, Alex. I keep telling people this and telling people this and telling people this. Georgia travels extremely well, like no team you've ever seen. Alabama is probably the only other team that travels as well as Georgia. Nobody else travels as well. And I get that Texas has a big fan base, but I think that when you see that they're going to be playing Georgia, the stadium's going to be at least 50-50, if not more, in Georgia's favor. What is the most racist state in the South? That's a heck of a question. I've lived in Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, Louisiana, and close enough to Tennessee. But if I had to guess a state, well, I don't even know that I could guess a state, dude. I might say probably Mississippi or Alabama. It'd be tough. But, you know, I try not to get into that stuff. Real reason we lost to Bama was because Uncle Luke cursed us. Maybe so. Maybe so. Hurst is going to the Aggies next year. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? I was going to make Oklahoma defense joke, but I couldn't find one. That's okay. They couldn't find defense either. They couldn't find a defense. Gage, how old are you, dude? I can't figure you out. Why on earth is there a team that doesn't have to play as many games as every other team that Daniel, because it's about money. That's why, man. It's about money. 13. All right, got you guys. Football skills are the most athletic. Yes and no. Guys that actually play soccer, man, that's such an intense sport. It's like running a marathon just wide open for 90 minutes. Kirby Smart said they will address fourth quarter play. Yeah, well, we need to address third quarter and fourth quarter play. We need to talk to the freaking offensive coordinator about how to make the adjustments to keep scoring. Georgia might end up at number 2. Jeez, maybe, but that would be a tall order. I'm betting number 3. That would be amazing if we did. Running doesn't determine athleticism, dude. Awesome. That's true. Awesome. You're right. But being able to run and cut and jump, and those guys hit each other pretty hard when they play. Rugby's a hell of a sport too, especially Australian rules rugby. Chaney needs to go. Chaney needs to learn. I don't know if he needs to go, but he needs to learn. Where will Fields go? Fields will probably go to Ohio. LSU baseball #1 in the preseason poll. LSU's got a great baseball team. What do I think UJ predictions for next year in the schedule and win and loss ratio? I think that next year the teams that are going to give us the most trouble during the regular season is probably going to be Florida. And depending on what goes on with Texas A&M, it might be Texas A&M, but everybody else we should steamroll. I don't know who go to Penn State. He was a heavy favorite to go to Penn State initially, but I don't know that Penn State has an offensive line that can keep him protected well enough for him to do what he wants to do. I'm telling you, Leo Messi is the best soccer player who is 5'3", is athletic as LeBron. I'm not saying he's as athletic as LeBron. We're talking about the sport as a whole. We're not talking about individual players, because if you want to talk about individual players as far as baseball player goes, Babe Ruth was certainly not the most athletic baseball player I've ever seen, but he could yank a baseball out of a park faster than you could pitch it. Thanks. I'm guessing it's Zafira, and I hope I'm saying that right. I appreciate the vote of camaraderie there. You hit the nail on the head when you said it's all about the money. That's why Notre Dame got in. It's exactly why they got in. It's an independent conference, and it is about money. It's always going to be about the money. That's what makes the sport show up on television. If it wasn't about that, it wouldn't show up. Bryce Heron and Aaron Judge are freak athletes. I don't know who those guys are, but Free Coach, you seem to be kind of on the ball about your stats, so you're probably right. I wanted to see Tua go to LSU because I wanted to see his brothers go at it. Yeah, his brother's good, but I don't know if his brother's as good as he is. Who will be the scariest quarterback in the championship game, in my opinion? Honestly, I think Jalen Hurts. I think if you put Jalen Hurts in there at the same time and you turn him loose back and forth between snapping the ball, I don't think Clemson would have a game plan to deal with that, and I think Jalen Hurts would run all over him. Phil should go to FSU so my Gators could wreck him. Yeah. Tua wants to I guess his name is Talua, wants to break Tua's record so bad. I think he did already in high school. Maybe. I haven't looked into that guy too much because I know he's never coming to Georgia. So, Free Code says they're talking baseball. Bryce Harper, this player, is looking to make a $400 million contract. It's free agents right now. Wish I made that kind of money. I'll tell you that. I'm surprised the Pineapple didn't go to the injury tent this game. I guarantee you, as soon as he come out of that SEC championship game, they were doing all they could to get him healed up. Rumor has it that Talia is better than Tua, and he may be, but until you get on a big stage, you never know. LSU commit named Peter Parrish beat him in the state championship. Could be. Cubs fan. Oh man, Chicago Cubs. I got a friend of mine who's a Cubs fan. So Georgia shouldn't have gotten in the playoffs. You ask Bryson, if you're asking me if Georgia should have gotten in the playoffs because Georgia will beat Texas and prove they should have made it. Georgia should have been in a college football playoff, and I mean, as soon as the game was over, on my reaction video, I had tons of Bama fans on my feed telling me that they respected what Georgia did, and we should be in the college football playoff. I've been hearing it ever since. Announcers have been saying it. I mean, it was clear as day that the only reason Georgia didn't get in was because they wanted to make money off of other teams. Even though I'm a Bama fan, I really want to see UGA get to the Natty next year, and I want them to win one. Me too, dude. I'm so with you on that because Georgia will beat Texas, even though, Tom Brady will go to the Super Bowl again, probably. UCF versus LSU all day. Surgery for sprained ankle is the dumbest shit. Oh, my goodness, Gerald. I think that's the first comment I've seen you make, dude, but that's a good comment. I mean, it was an absolute trouncing tonight. There was Alabama got out in front, and there was no way they were going to walk him down. Is DeAndre Baker not playing going to be a problem? No. It's not. I mean, one player does not a team make. Georgia's going to be able to do what it does. They'll get some big plays, but when they get down into the red zone where they can't stretch the field out, all that goes away. Georgia will play, its backups while we're at the long end of the field. We get to the short end of the field. Georgia will put in our first string, and then we'll shut that stuff down. Who do I think is better, Grant Delpit or DeAndre Baker? DeAndre Baker, of course. Not for being with Penn State, but can Kentucky beat them? I don't know. Kentucky is one of those teams that if they can run the ball on you, it'll kill you. But Penn State has a legitimate shot at winning that game. Top 3 teams in the country are Alabama, Clemson, UGA. You would think the committee would have saw that. Yeah, the committee should have saw that, but unfortunately, I think that it's more about money. There's just too many analytics that show Georgia was a way better team than Notre Dame, and they still put them in. Clearly, Alabama's going to win the Natty too. If they don't, I'll be surprised. Why has Virginia Tech turned into such a garbage team? Virginia Tech has turned into a garbage team because they can't get the recruits that were getting years before. All those guys are going to Clemson now. Have I heard of IMG Academy? I have heard of that academy, but I don't know from where. Georgia damn near better than Clemson too. I'd love to see him play. It's tough to say, but I'd love to see him play. I think Georgia could beat him, but I also think Clemson has a shot at beating Georgia. Ian Book should have been benched in the Notre Dame game. Probably wouldn't have made a difference, but he was trash. Notre Dame's offense, they try to confuse you and they try to trick you with some of these weird-ass plays. And it's kind of the same thing Auburn does. If they can get you off balance and keep you there, they'll beat you. But the Irish, they don't do it that way. They try to use that as their pretty much game plan, and they end up losing to better teams because better teams just don't get fooled. They play more disciplined football. DeAndre Baker or Greedy, and is DeAndre Baker or Greedy, or do you think Grant Delpit will go top 10? I'm not sure what you meant. VLR, what do you mean on that when you say is DeAndre Baker being greedy? Or you asked me if Grant Delpit will go top 10. Yes, he'll go top 10, but I don't know. I don't think DeAndre Baker's being greedy. I think DeAndre Baker's just trying to protect his investment that he's made his entire life to this point. He doesn't want to potentially lose it all in one game. It's a smart decision. I mean, I wouldn't risk millions of dollars to play one game that really doesn't have any long-term impact on a game that your team's probably going to win anyway. Whew, it's getting late. I'm tired, man. It's been a long day. Just watching too much football took it out of me. Sam Greedy is not playing a ball. Yeah, I don't have any problem with these kids not playing in these bigger bowl games, or I don't have a problem with these kids not playing in these bowl games. If it's not a college football playoff game or it's not a national title, I can understand why they don't want to play. I'm not going to hold that against them. I do the same way. What are my favorite sports to watch in order? Obviously, college football. I love watching college football. It's my favorite thing to do as far as favorite sports. Second favorite sport is probably to watch. There's this really weird type of soccer where they have 3 goalposts. I don't know if it's English rules or whatever it is, but I love watching that because it's like football, but it's like Harry Potter style football. It's cool as shit to watch. They like bounce the ball and then kick it, and if they do this, that, or the other, then they get a free kick. Should have Ohio State been in instead of Oklahoma? I know Georgia. Yeah, I think Ohio State should have been in instead of Notre Dame, but not in place of Georgia. All right, AJT, AFL, that's what it is. It's AFL. That's right. Thanks, Michael. I think somebody else said AFL too. Yeah, it was you. Yeah, that's a great game, dude. I love watching that. Ohio State's overrated. Yep. Do I support the Falcons? Yeah, I support the Falcons, but man, they don't have the heart that they used to have. I'll watch. Now, if both games are on, I'm going to watch college football every time, and then I'll watch AFL. Do I watch NFL? Sometimes it just depends. I get really upset with the Falcons because they come out and they just play like they don't care, and that really pisses me off. It's like if I invest more emotion in it as a fan than you do as a player, there's a problem. More deserving, better teams. Georgia is better than Notre Dame and Oklahoma. Yes. Any predictions on the spread for Bama Clemson? Yeah, I mean, you're probably going to see, I would say Bama wins that game, but it's going to be like 45-38 or 38-31. It's not going to be a blowout. It's going to be a one-score game. Do I like AFL over NFL? Yes, because the guys in AFL play without pads and they play wide open the whole time. That's just my opinion. Bama and -4 spread. Yeah. My dad gave up NFL due to the national anthem thing. Yeah, I don't get into that too much. Everybody's got their own opinion on it. I agree with what they're trying to do, but I don't agree with the way they're doing it. And I think that's the general consensus throughout most of America. You know, they feel like if you have a cause and you want to stand behind it, that's great. AFL is a type of football that has, I think it's Australian Rules Football League or something like that. But look it up. It's really cool. It's got 3 different goalposts that you can kick a ball through. But anyway, the whole national anthem thing. If you have football for Australia, if you have a message that you want to get out there, that's fine. But you want to make do it in the right place, do it in the right way. Most of those guys, didn't do anything in the off season, but they want to get out there and make a spectacle on national television and cause a whole bunch of heartburn and upset and ticked off people, and that's just not the way to go about it. I mean, if that's what you want to stand behind, that's fine. I support you as an American. That's your freedom. You can do whatever you want to do, but choose the best platform for it. Straight up is Saban over Bear Bryant. He's getting there, John. He's absolutely getting there. I think once you see Nick Saban surpass Bear Bryant, I think he will retire. I think that's his ultimate goal, and I think that once he does that, he'll bow out and he'll be done. Make yourself heard, but not on anyone else's stage. Yeah, a lot of people say that. I'm a hit a big dog. I'll be going for Georgia against Texas. Long love. The SEC. Go Dogs and Roll Tide. Yep. Thanks, Zafira. Vegas revealed the point spread. Bama 7-point favorite. That's pretty much what I was thinking. Do I believe blacks on average are more athletic? I don't know. I haven't really looked into those numbers, but I would say in general, you tend to see more athletes on the record-breaking side tend to be of African-American origin, however you want to say it. I certainly don't want to upset anybody or tick anybody off, but I see a lot of athletes that are black, and I think sometimes that we're not careful enough to look at all the data before we make a judgment. So before I just say yeah or no, I'd have to look at some numbers to be sure. Let's see. What's up with the questions, free codes? Do I think Isaac Nauta will leave or stay? If I was Nauta, I'd be gone. I mean, I really would. I'd go ahead and go pro. That guy's a beast. There's no need for him to risk getting hurt. He's a tight end. What are my predictions for next year? 15-0. I'll talk about anything just as long as you understand it's just talk, and I'm not going to get into conversations that are going to upset people and cause a whole bunch of backlash. I have my own opinions about a lot of things, and I'll get on here and post my opinions about football, but when we start getting into some of the other stuff, I just leave it alone. We're all here to have a good time, and people get really heated really quick, and you can't reason with them, and you can't have an open discussion with them. With some people, they just go off the deep end immediately, and I just don't have the patience to deal with that stuff. I just want everybody to be happy and have a good time. Hey, Sarah, thank you for joining the channel. I'll see you later. Do I worry that something in Florida is brewing with the Gators? Absolutely. That team seems to be really coming around, and I'm glad to see it. I don't like just curb stomping everybody we play. I want it to be good games. I want those teams to be good, but I want Georgia to be great. Are you going to go live more often? This is really entertaining. I typically go live during the games. I just feel like I have more to talk about, and it's easier to communicate with you guys than it is in the comment section. But yeah, I do. I typically do halftime, then I do after games. But there's not that many games left that I'm going to do this on. But yeah, I'll try to do live more often next year. Football is supposed to be fun, and need to keep it fun for everybody. I agree. What bowl is Georgia playing in? Sugar Bowl. Who do I think is winning the Super Bowl? I have no idea. I haven't even kept up much with that. I'm gonna call you FCD because Frico's Daily just sounds weird to say. What kind of videos will I make in the off season? Typically in the off season, I'll go over. I'll do the recruiting videos, depending on what's going on with some of the other stuff around UGA or the SEC. I'll make videos here and there. I'll pick the Bears. I like the Bears better than I do the Saints. That's just me. I also do the recruiting, where our class lands, who we're chasing, who we may get, rumors around campus. If somebody gets hurt or somebody gets suspended, we get a coach or lose a coach. And, you know, I'll go over the upcoming schedule. That's just the kind of stuff I do in the off season. There's really not a whole lot to talk about. Georgia basketball is really not that good. Mark Fox he's just another Mark Rick. Joseph Trotter, what you got for me, buddy? Throw one at me. South Carolina hit the jackpot with 3-star Ja'Kai Moore. Bears defense is super scary. People forget you can't win without defense, especially in pros. Everybody at the pro, I tell everybody this. Even the worst team in pro. I'll get to your question here in just a second, Joseph. The worst team in the NFL got there by being the best out of the best in high school go college, best out of college go pro, and the best out of best at pro end up on the worst team in the country. So even the worst team in the NFL has the best players. Can Alabama stop Trevor Lawrence? Yes, absolutely they can. South Carolina actually did hit the jackpot when they landed the #1 quarterback, 5-star Ryan Helsinki. Helinski, I think is his name. I think I said it right. Yeah, he's a great quarterback, but the problem is he's got no offensive line to protect him. Notre Dame and Clemson should have played in the ACC championship or division level. The ACC actually got 2 teams in. Epic fail by the College Football Playoff Committee. I agree, but I mean at some point it was either going to be 2 teams from the SEC or something like that, and they didn't think they could make as much money off Georgia going back in, so they picked somebody else.
Not today, son.
Hey, huge Bama fan here, boss. Just want to say respect to you and your videos, long-time subscriber. Thanks, Jake. I really appreciate it. I started making these videos about a year and a half ago. About halfway through the season, I started watching Uncle Lou, and
I said not today, son.
I kind of like his videos, but man, he's a super vivid personality. He talks a lot of trash, and it's entertaining to watch. He's a great guy to watch, and certainly not disappointed with his videos. My videos have kind of become something different. I kind of started out in that direction too, and I didn't want to copy him. I got a lot of respect for the guy, but I wanted to have my own channel doing my own thing, and as I did it, it just became more and more of me talking about, you know, what I like and what I see, and I ended up it just kind of turning into this. So I started out with no subscribers, and the last check I think I'm like at 1,050, and you know, and that's just, you know, thanks to fans like you guys or subscribers or whatever you want to call you guys. I'm gonna take Super Bowl. I'm gonna take the Bears. Never understood why Notre Dame isn't in a conference. Okay, FCD, I'll break it down to you real quick like this. The reason they're not in a conference is because all their other sports are in the ACC conference. They didn't want to join the ACC conference. They wanted to join like the Big 10 or the Big 12 years ago. Hey, Duke to Duke. Hey, Duke to Duke. You want to be on my YouTube channel, come over here. Over here yelling at Fortnite. So they wanted to be in the Big 10 or the Big 12 or whatever, so they go over to the Big 10 and they say, hey, we want to join your conference, but we want to keep scheduling the games we've been scheduling. And the Big 10 or Big 12 was basically like, no, if you want to join our conference, you're going to do the same thing all of us do. You're going to schedule it like this. And they said, well, we got some great rivalries with all these other teams, and we want to keep those. And the Big 10, I think, I'm just going to say Big 10. It's probably the Big 12. I don't know. They told the Big 10 told them, was like, no, you're going to play by the same rules as the rest of us, or you're just not going to join the conference. So they're like, Notre Dame's like, screw you guys, we're not joining your conference. And Big 10's like, okay, do whatever. Yes, well, that was one of the other things too, is they said bring all the sports or you can't be in. That was another one. So they said, well, we're not doing that. So we're going to be independent for a while. So they did that for a while, and they come back and they tried it again. And basically the Big Ten told them the same thing again. It was like, either you can play by the same rules as the rest of us, or you can go pound sand. Now, we're just going to be independent then. Well, fine, go be independent. But I think now in the current climate where we have the college football playoff committee we have to deal with, I think they should have to join a conference or not be allowed in. Who should replace our defensive coordinator? Who are you talking about, Bryson? Who are you wanting to replace? Everyone is saying that the next defensive coordinator will be the assistant from the Raiders. Are you talking about Mel Tucker? Or are you talking about the coach, the guy that went to coach, be a head coach? Oh, to me the most entertaining game today was the Florida game. Mel Kiper. I don't know. I have no idea. But for me, Mel Tucker. For me, it works like this. Kirby Smart's a defensive-minded guy. He's going to find a guy that's going to match his play scheme and style, and they're going to run it together. So basically, it's just going to be a culmination of Kirby Smart and whoever he wants to run. But anybody that is running a pro-style offense from the NFL will be fine. Lincoln Riley is one of the best play callers in college football. He's a front runner to land a job in the NFL. Yeah, Lincoln Riley's probably not going to stay with Oklahoma much longer. He's doing too good of a job. I don't think they can get the talent out there that he needs at that school to be competitive on a national level to win a national football championship, so he'll probably leave. Man, I've been on here for almost an hour. I can't believe that. That's crazy. Dan Quinn reminds me of Kirby Smart, to be honest. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, yeah, I can see that. So, it was a good game, college football today. I really enjoyed watching everybody play. Imagine if Bill Belichick was a coach. They both do dumb stuff like fake punts, 4th and 11. Hey, I can tell everybody the fake punt was dumb, but that's not what cost us a game. One play does not cost you a game. What cost us the game was the offensive coordinator not being able to adjust and keep moving the ball after the defense. Alabama's defensive coordinator made their adjustments. Let's see. Did they have college base? Did they have a college baseball championship? The college baseball World Series. It's played in Omaha every year. Yeah, that's come and gone. Diehard Texas Longhorn fan, but I do love the Georgia Bulldogs as well. Well, thanks, Des. I don't know how you ended up on my channel, but I'm glad you're here. I will tell you that my trash talking videos, I kind of do some trash talking, but I also try to put some numbers behind it. My wife was a Longhorns fan for years, and the reason she was a Longhorns fan was because she. Yeah, you're right, Alex. We'll be hearing that. They'll be hearing that for forever. My wife was a Longhorns fan because she noticed that the Longhorns players and fans, one of the very first games she ever watched, when the other team came out, both the fans and the Longhorn players clapped for the other team, but whenever the Longhorns players come out, the other team booed them, and she just thought it was a good sign of respect. So she kind of admired that and been watching them ever since. Then I converted her to a real team. So. James Franklin roasted players, decommitting, and then flipped all his players from Vandy to PSU. Yeah, it's crazy how some of that stuff goes on. Do you think Georgia will go 15-0 if Belichick was out? Yeah, right. I wish. Jacob Eason went to Washington. Yeah. Let's see if he can win the job now. But now, by the way, my cousin actually brought up a good point. Imagine if Justin Fields goes to Ohio State and gets the starting job. And imagine that Jacob Eason wins the starting job in Washington. And both of those teams play really well. We could end up playing one or both of those teams in a college football playoff scenario, and all of the quarterbacks have played for Georgia at some point. Which means, because Jake Fromm played behind Jacob Eason, and Fields played behind Fromm. So we could end up playing quarterbacks that had all been on the same team at some time. Fields will not start over Tate Mattel. Well, that may be true. But you don't know if Tate might get injured. I mean, it happens all the time. That's how we end up with Jake Fromm at the helm. So, I mean, it can happen. Tate Mattel might just lose his mind and decide he don't want to play anymore. I mean, stranger things have happened. So we'll see. All right, guys. Well, it's been quite a while. We should have kept Fields. No, Bryson. We should not have kept Fields. Fields needed to go play somewhere and be a prime star. I mean, the guy's got a ton of talent. I would love to have kept him at Georgia, but he's just too good of a talent to sit on a shelf. Two great quarterbacks. We should have kept him. I wish we could have kept him, but it's just not likely. And he's not a pro-style quarterback anyway. We ended up with a really good situation because he's leaving. What's his name? DeJuan Mathis. He's coming, and because he's a year behind Jake Fromm, like he is, he'll be able to sit on the bench and actually play mop-up duty and learn the offense and, not overpressure Jake Fromm. And I mean, it's basically a perfect fit for us. That guy's a pro-style 4-star quarterback. I'm fine with him being our backup quarterback and then coming in. Yes, sir. Alex nailed it. Chris Cyborg got knocked out. Dang, is that fight on right now? I got to get that rolling because I want to watch the John Jones fight. Hey, and if there's any of you guys that are John Jones fans, they took his title the last time he fought Daniel Cormier because he failed a drug test. Well, after like a year, they found out that what was in his system was 1/50th of a millionth of a grain of sand size residual trace of something he took years ago or whatever. Anyway, it wasn't stuff that he had ingested previously. It's over. Amanda Nunes won. Golly, man, I'm gonna have to watch that on instant replay. Notre Dame O-line is huge. They have 6'8" guys. Yeah, it doesn't mean they can play though. Doesn't mean they can play. All right, guys, it's been like an hour. I'm freaking exhausted, and I still got to watch another fight. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. Helps the metric. All that wonderful stuff is great for the channel. We appreciate you guys doing that. I'll make another video I'll do the Georgia game. If you guys want to jump on some live stuff, we'll do it then. I appreciate it. So thanks again, guys. We'll talk to you soon. And as always, God bless. Go Dogs.